Hi, this is Wise Wolf with a message to encourage you to consider improving your food reserve storage. Inflation is here causing food and energy prices to rise with no end in sight. In this period of economic uncertainty, eFoods Global is making certain that hunger is no option. For a complete product list, go to booksmart.myefoods.com. Again, that's booksmart.myefoods.com. Try eFoods Global. It's the gold standard of food reserves. Welcome to the Wise Wolf Project. I'm your host, Wise Wolf. It is 2:21 in the afternoon, March 3rd, 2011. I just came back from the grocery store and I had an interesting short conversation with a guy in the meat department. I was looking for some ground beef. Wasn't really seeing what I was looking for. Trying to make some decisions, and he came up to me and asked me, did I need anything? And I said, no, I'm just trying to figure out what I'm going to do here. And he proceeded to carry on a conversation, and he said this. Say, man, what we going to do about these oil prices? So I ain't never seen no ground beef go up this fast in such a short amount of time. He said, man, they got to do something. He's saying they keep on saying the people over there, i.e. the protesters, are the ones that's causing it. And I said, yeah, no, that's not it. I said, we are the cause of it. We as in America. And he said, nah, man, it's them people, they doing that. They as in OPEC. You know, they sitting on plenty of oil, and we basically they just want to milk us for trillions and trillions of dollars. And at that point, I halted the conversation because I was not going to be able to educate the meat man in the amount of time that I needed to I guess educate him on how things actually work. And I had to bring about this video because I had a friend of mine who basically made similar accusations, and I had to disavow him of that. So I remember when I was in the 6th grade and my teacher would ask different students, why did they do this or why did they do that? Why did they go over there? And the response was usually, well, they did it. They said do it. They, all this they. And when she would ask, well, who are they? And they never had a name. Nobody ever knew who they were. And so she replied, they gonna get a whole lot of people in trouble. And this is where we are today. People have a misunderstanding about the they, and in this case, the they is OPEC. OPEC is a conglomerate or confederation of countries that have oil, and they've created essentially a cartel, and they regulate their production. However, in that sense, they have something to do with the price of oil, as the gentleman, the meat man, so eloquently stated. However, they do not control the price totally. They do not totally control the price. There are other factors, and a major factor is the fact that Mr. Ben Bernanke, old Benny boy, how many quantitative easings do we have to have? The trillions of dollars that he's giving to banks, they realize that the dollar is being debased, and so they're putting them into commodities. Oil is one of them. On top of the fact that you have all nations, that whole region having disturbances, which, at least in the case of Libya, has altered the production to a certain extent. So people are fearful, plus you have quantitative easing, money printing on top of that, and voila, you have prices going up. Why? Because the commodities are based in dollars. And when you debase the dollar, the thing that it's measuring against goes up. So this is the misconception among the layman of the country. I take him as a sample of what's happening nationwide. People do not understand why prices are going up. There was a matter of fact, 2 ladies on the side of me looking at ground beef talking about how prices were going up. And so they were debating which ground part of which package of ground meat they were going to get. And this is how inflation affects people's everyday lives. Number one, they make swaps sometimes of what they're going to eat. I did that. I didn't get as much ground beef as I wanted to get. I ended up substituting some other meat for it. But it gives you an idea that we still have a long way to go. People still need to be educated on what's really going on. People still do not understand. OPEC does have power. Yes, they can control production. They can withhold some oil and they can pump some oil. But even these nations we're dealing with, I believe, peak oil where they don't have what they say they have. At least in Saudi Arabia, there are plenty of reports that say they don't have what they're saying that they have. So they can only they control production, which is a mechanism for higher and lower prices of oil. But the biggest thing that's happening right now is they old Benny boy, and they in the Middle East, these protesters are rioting in these states of oil, these countries that have oil, and that's what's causing it. It's not OPEC. These people, once you focus on the true source, you find out that it's the Federal Reserve. And I think that's what we need to teach people. We need to help them understand what's really going on and why it's going on, because there's a miseducation and a misperception in the land that OPEC is always the problem. And politicians are great for pointing the fingers at other people. They just had a Pentagon paper that came out that said that the reason for this whole economic collapse had to do with, voila, speculators, financial terrorism, terrorists. But they never mentioned banks at all. They never mentioned the securitization of these mortgage-backed securities, CDSs, CDOs, MBSs, RMBSs, all of these derivative products. They didn't mention a thing about that. And so you have no wonder we have a people who don't understand what's going on when we just have the propaganda machine pushing out falsehoods and lies. So let's put a face and a name to this they, whoever they are. Because if we don't, we'll end up with things like defense paper that comes out talking about speculators. Well, who are the speculators? If they are so-called the problem, let's put a face and a name on them so we can stop it. Or this war on terror. We have to go after the terrorists. Well, who are the terrorists? Give me a name. Show me a face. Because if we don't, we will be forever engaged in endless nothingness. And then we'll be in trouble because of what my 6th grade teacher referred to as the unknown they. That's my time. Remember, the invisible is more powerful than the visible. Think about it.